So I did keto for 30 days, see if it could actually improve my ADHD. And here's the reason why I decided to do that. Because when keto diet was actually an actual diet before it became a big trend, it was something that was treated for epilepsy. And they found really positive results for helping kids that had epileptic episodes. And they used the keto diet to reduce those symptoms. And then they started doing studies on people with ADHD to see, hey, epilepsy also has issues with the brain. So does also ADHD. Let's see if it actually makes some actual sense, if it could actually give you some improvement there. And they did find in research that it did. So I thought to myself, okay, can this actually benefit my ADHD? Because I know it is a very common type of diet that people use to actually lose weight, but I wanted to see how would it actually improve my brain. The very first thing that when it comes with doing the keto diet, there is a lot of challenges of adjusting how you have to eat. Because what I found for myself, in order to get below, the adequate amount of carbohydrates, I had to actually have 30 grams of carbs. Some people could do 50, I had to do 30 to stay in ketosis. It means you can only have a certain amount of carbohydrates in your diet in order to stay in ketosis. Ketosis is what actually switches your brain to using fat as fuel. You start breaking down a lot of the fat cells, which then breaks down all the ketobiones, hence why it's called ketosis. But the biggest adjustments was definitely the foods that I had to adjust to, because only having 30 grams of carbs a day was a challenge in itself. I had to substitute bread. I remember when I decided I wanted to have, maybe a hamburger, you'd have to use lettuce wraps. But sometimes when I would really crave something sweet, obviously I couldn't go grab something sweet because that would totally take me beyond 30 carbs. So I would even make my own keto ice cream with half and half because it didn't really have any sugar in it. Yeah, it was like a brick of just ice. When I tried to do it, it didn't taste very good. So there was definitely those challenges with that. But obviously initially, doing the very first week and even to the second week on the keto diet, I didn't see big changes per se on my ADHD symptoms of being focused, being more productive, being able to pay attention more. But it was when I was getting into about the third week that I did start seeing some big changes. So the first things that I did start to notice, aside from the weight, yeah, I was losing some weight, but what I did start noticing is I did have a more clear thinking mind. On top of that, I didn't really have any brain fog, as well as I felt like I was more calm just throughout the day, just more calm. And I don't know what that was, but that's what I kind of noticed when it was about 2.5 weeks into it. And I noticed, wow, maybe there is something to this, especially for people who have ADHD. Now, there were certainly a lot of challenges of continuing on with the keto diet, especially as when I was getting into week 2. The biggest one is, my wife at the current time when I was actually doing the keto diet, she was pregnant with our second child and she was very sensitive to smells. And I would cook, bacon and lots of different meats and fat. And she did not like that. She did not like the smell in our apartment at the time we were living at. And that also made it very difficult for when we would sit down to eat, I would have to have a completely different meal than for my child and my wife. So that made a challenge in itself as well. And then of course there was the cravings. I always craved my sweets, definitely ice cream. I love ice cream, and not be able to have ice cream. And even when I would try to attempt making my own ice cream, it just was not the same. I will say, however, I got really good at making my own keto pizza. I tried the cauliflower keto crust, not my favorite. I just was not very good at making it. But what I used was a substitute of using almond flour and also Parmesan cheese and some other cheeses, and made this dough. And I got really good at making a really good, mean keto pizza. So that is one thing I was able to crave, because I love pizza on Friday nights, and that's what I would be able to substitute. And I got really good at that. But really the big benefits that I saw for helping with my ADHD being on the keto diet, did I see significant benefits to really continue with something like this? So the benefits that I really did see, once I was getting into towards the 30 days, once I really kind of started noticing into week 3 and week 4, is I noticed that I was more focused. I had more of a clear mind, but my mood was great as well. I felt very more happy. I just felt that sense of peace, and things didn't irritate me that much, which is kind of an interesting feeling if you've never done the keto diet and you tend to feel more stressed and irritated by things. It just seems like a lot of the things that just would bother me didn't seem like a problem. The other thing I noticed is that my mind wouldn't be racing into a million different directions that I typically have with my ADHD, that I tend to be more focused on things, and I was getting more things productive, and I was working at my business and being more productive at that. And of course, yes, I did lose weight. I lost 8 pounds, doing this for 30 days. So, I mean, yes, that's a perk, but I was more in the intention of how can this improve my mind, improve my brain, improve my ADHD. And I definitely saw the benefits of that. So because I saw the benefits of this, guess what? I did another 30 days of the keto diet. I did it for a full 60 days. Now, here is the problem. It is very challenging to continue something like this on the keto diet because, for one, it was a challenge of the family dynamics. If you don't have your whole family on the same meal plan as you and eating the same foods, it makes it very difficult to be part of the family. And that was definitely a challenge for me. I knew it was gonna be difficult to continue on with something like this. The other thing is, yes, I was still having the benefits were my ADHD, and I was seeing the improvements of my focus and attention and being more productive, but also the other benefits, some of them just plateaued. For example, my weight just seemed to plateau. I knew I had more weight to lose, but it just seemed like that second month, during the next 30 days, it just plateaued for me. So this is what I decided to do because I knew there was benefits for my ADHD to be more in a state of ketosis. So what I have been doing is I have shifted. I didn't decide to continue with the keto diet because I think it's definitely challenging to continue on with that, but it definitely could be beneficial for you. But what I decided to do is, okay, obviously I need to cut all my carbs, I need to cut all my sugars and eat more proteins and more healthy fats and vegetables. But another thing that I've been implementing in my life is fasting. And definitely I've seen, because fasting can put you in more ketosis state, so definitely I have found the same benefits that I get from the keto diet for my ADHD. So if you've never considered fasting, you should watch this video right here of what can fasting do for your ADHD, especially for your brain, to improve your brain. So watch this video right here. I'll see you in that video. Thanks. Bye.